Hare Krishna, Diksha Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. We have seen in our previous video titled What is Diksha or Initiation? That there are three components of Diksha. What are the three components? The first is the physical or personal aspect. The second is the ceremonial aspect. And the third is the transcendental aspect. We have also seen in that video how the physical or personal aspect, consisting of instructions on services, clearing one's doubts, and correcting the mistakes, were delegated by Srila Prabhupada to the temple president, to the GBCs, and the senior devotees in the Rtviks system of initiations. The second part, the ceremonial aspects, which involves formal surrender and acceptance, selecting the initiated name, chanting on the beads, conducting the fire sacrifice, etc., were delegated to the Rtviks and to the temple presidents. And the third component, the transcendental aspects, revealing transcendental knowledge in the heart, destroying the sins of the disciple, and delivering the disciple back to Godhead, taking the disciple back to Godhead, were retained by Srila Prabhupada himself. This is how the Rtviks system of initiations fulfilled all the components of Diksha or initiation. If you have not watched the video, What is Diksha or Initiation, please do watch it for a detailed explanation of these three components of Diksha. Now here in this video, we will compare how the unauthorized Guru system of ISKCON stacks up against the Diksha Vidhana or initiation. First, let us look at the physical or personal aspects, the first component. The component of Diksha. This is the component of Diksha which requires a physically present person, correcting the disciples' mistakes, instructing on service, clearing doubts, etc. are what constitute this component. Now, the GBC of ISKCON Mumbai Group, in their resolution number 405 of 1999, which has been made into an ISKCON law on standards of Guru worship in ISKCON, in subsection A of this law, the GBC state, ISKCON devotees shall instruct new members to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and to receive guidance, training, and assistance from those who are practically and directly instructing them in Krishna consciousness. So you see, the GBC is not saying that they have to take the instructions from their Diksha Guru. What are they saying? Assistance from those who are practically and directly instructing them in Krishna consciousness. Diksha Guru is not directly instructing. It is very clear from this resolution. So the GBC has stated here what practically happens in ISKCON. Every devotee in ISKCON receives guidance, training, and assistance from senior devotees in the temple, not from the Diksha Guru. They are trained, meaning their services are overseen by the temple management, not the Diksha Guru. Training, of course, includes correcting the devotee whenever he commits a mistake. And the doubts of the devotee are cleared by the senior devotees in the temple. This is the same thing that happens in the Rtviks system of Diksha. Further, in the same ISKCON law, under subsection G, the GBC have declared temple presidents and project leaders are fully responsible for engaging the devotees in their charge. Gurus must first consult with a temple president before talking to a disciple about changing their service. That means it is the temple president or the devotee leader who decides on the services of the devotee. He corrects them and trains them, not the Diksha Guru. The Diksha Guru has no jurisdiction on the service of the disciple or correcting him, etc. This is ISKCON law, which in every way is practically the same thing that happens in the Rtviks system of initiations. So the first component of Diksha, the personal or physical aspect, is the same in both the Rtviks system of initiations as well as the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON. Now, let us go on to the next component, the ceremonial aspect. Under this, practically what happens in ISKCON is that the so-called Diksha Guru chants on the beads and selects the initiated name. The fire yajna, announcing the name and handing over the beads, is generally done by the temple president. If the Guru so happens to be in the temple on the day of the fire sacrifice, he will announce the name and hand over the beads. Otherwise, the temple president does it. So practically, the difference between the Rtviks system of initiations and the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON, as far as the second component of Diksha, the ceremonial aspect is concerned, is that whatever is performed by the Rtvik in the Rtvik system of initiations is done by the so-called Dīkṣā Guru in ISKCON Mumbai's group. And what is done by the temple president in the Rtvik system may be done by the temple president or the so-called Dīkṣā Guru in the unauthorized Guru system. So not much of a difference, but whatever the Rtvik was doing, that is being done by the Dīkṣā Guru. Now let us look at the third component, the transcendental aspect. As far as revealing transcendental knowledge within the heart is concerned, the GBC's resolution number 404 of 1999 on definitions of Guru and Divya Jnana states, without changing the message, Srila Prabhupada's sincere messengers deliver transcendental knowledge to the conditioned souls. This pure transcendental knowledge, delivered without alteration, uplifts the conditioned souls to the platform of devotional service and cleanses sinful desires from their hearts. Such uplifting knowledge is called Divya Jnana, and its transmission is called Shiksha. This Divya Jnana is the principal active ingredient of Diksha. So, in this resolution, the GBC has clearly declared that Divya Jnana comes from whom? It comes from Srila Prabhupada, not the Dīkṣā Guru. And passing it on without changing, passing on the message of Srila Prabhupada without changing it constitutes Shiksha. That means disciples, irrespective of who their Guru is in ISKCON, received Divya Jnana from Srila Prabhupada, and their so-called Dīkṣā Gurus are only giving Shiksha, because the GBC has said that such uplifting knowledge is called Divya Jnana and its transmission is called Shiksha. And all the Dīkṣā Gurus in ISKCON are supposed to simply transmit the same knowledge given by Srila Prabhupada without alteration, which by the GBC's definition constitutes Shiksha only, not Divya Jnana. So, in the Rtvik system of initiations, as well as in the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON, Divya Jnana is given by Srila Prabhupada. As far as sinful reactions go, the GBC has not directly addressed who takes the sinful reactions of the disciple. But in this resolution, which we have just now quoted, they have said that transcendental knowledge delivered without alteration cleanses the sinful desires from their hearts. Although the GBC have not directly stated who takes the sinful reactions of the disciple, we can infer that since the GBC has said that transcendental knowledge or Divya Jnana cleanses the sinful desires from the heart of the disciple, and the GBC has also said that Divya Jnana or transcendental knowledge is given by Srila Prabhupada, therefore we can infer that it is Srila Prabhupada who takes the sinful reactions of the disciples even in the unauthorized Guru system. Srila Prabhupada in multiple places said that at the time of first initiation, he takes all the sinful reactions of the disciples. Like in this letter to Jadurani, written on 4th of September 1972, Srila Prabhupada said, "The spiritual master accepts the sinful activities of his disciples from the first initiation. I may give initiation very easily, but what can I do? I am prepared to go to hell for service of Lord Chaitanya." So, Srila Prabhupada has clearly said that at the time of first initiation, Srila Prabhupada takes the sinful reactions of the disciple. There is no doubt about this. Hence, in the Rtvik system of initiation, it is Srila Prabhupada who destroys the sinful reactions of the disciple. But in the GBC's unauthorized Guru system, they have not been able to clearly declare who takes the sinful reactions of the disciple. Although, we may indirectly infer from their resolutions that it is Srila Prabhupada who takes the sinful reactions of the disciples even in their system of Diksha. Now, when it comes to delivering the disciple back to Godhead, the GBC resolution 404 states, "Thus, Lord Krishna, through the previous acharyas in disciplic succession and their empowered representative, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whose appearance and achievements were predicted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, will continue to deliver the conditioned souls with the assistance of representatives of His Divine Grace. Here, the GBC have stated that Srila Prabhupada delivers the disciple with the assistance of his representatives. Now, the GBC has not clarified who these representatives are that they are referring to who will assist Srila Prabhupada in delivering the disciples. Be that as it may, let us assume that it refers to the Diksha Gurus. So as per this assumption, the GBC has said that the disciples are delivered by Srila Prabhupada, assisted by the Diksha Guru. Now, how does the Diksha Guru assist Srila Prabhupada in delivering the disciple? That again is unclear, and the GBC has left it hazy. Regardless of how that happens or what kind of assistance the Diksha Guru gives to Srila Prabhupada, it is a fact that the GBC accepts that it is Srila Prabhupada who delivers the disciples, irrespective of who their ISKCON Diksha Guru is. So that means even this is the same in both the Rtviks system of initiations as well as the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON. So we can see that the third component, the transcendental component, is also more or less the same in both the Rtviks system of initiations as well as the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON. So, if we compare the two systems of initiations, the Rtviks system of initiations and the unauthorized Guru system in ISKCON, there is not much difference between them. The role of the Rtvik in the Rtviks system of initiations is performed by the Diksha Guru in the ISKCON Mumbai group system. That's all. So, when we look at this, although the GBC calls them the Diksha Gurus, what are they actually doing? They are actually performing only the role of a Rtvik. The Diksha Gurus in ISKCON are actually only Rtviks. Then why this hypocrisy? Why call them Diksha Gurus? Just call them Rtviks and declare that Srila Prabhupada is the Diksha Guru and all the disciples belong to Srila Prabhupada. That's it. Nothing else changes. No earth-shaking changes are needed. Just declare Srila Prabhupada is the sole Diksha Guru and all disciples belong to him in ISKCON and continue with everything as it is. Simple. Of course, it goes without saying that they also need to reverse the changes in deity worship which they have made and the changes to the books that the GBC has unauthorizedly introduced. But with respect to initiations, keeping aside everything else, with respect to only initiations, hardly anything changes except for recognizing Srila Prabhupada for what he is, the sole Diksha Guru of ISKCON. So, no matter which group you belong to, Srila Prabhupada is actually the sole Diksha Guru in ISKCON. Only that in Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON group, Srila Prabhupada is openly recognized as the Diksha Guru for the functions that he is performing, whereas in ISKCON Mumbai group, they refuse to recognize it while saying that Srila Prabhupada is the so-called preeminent Shiksha Guru. But although they may call Srila Prabhupada as a preeminent Shiksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada does all the functions of the Diksha Guru. But the disciples belong to those people whom they call the Diksha Guru. They don't belong to Srila Prabhupada. So let us stop this hypocrisy and accept Srila Prabhupada's Rtviks system of initiations with Srila Prabhupada as the sole Diksha Guru of ISKCON. That will no doubt be pleasing to Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.